Minister, if this pandemic had taught us anything, it has taught us that our frontline workers, how they need to be invested in. We can see from all the frontline workers that came home, all the trainee nurses that helped in the frontline services get paid during the COVID. But up to the COVID, while they were doing their training, they don't get paid. And when the COVID ends, you want to stop paying them again. If you're in the construction industry or in any other apprenticeship across this country, while you're doing your training, you get paid. And the very people that we depended on in this country don't get paid while they're doing their training. Not all companies are bad, but we do have some companies that treat their workers very disrespectfully. I acknowledge that. We have seen Debenham workers protest outside here today. They're protesting in Limerick, and they're still trading in the UK. They're basically giving the two fingers to Ireland. We should be picketing them in the UK. We should be stopping their online trading in this country if they're not willing to stand up and look after the workers that were in Debenhams. I've seen the workers in Limerick stand outside on pickets, and it's the last thing they need to hold on to is what's in the store and stock, and they're being treated with so much disrespect and disregard after they gave a great service to Debenhams. We also look at people that live in rural Ireland that are working, and we saw the last bill that was debated on where they're increasing the carbon tax. If you're living in rural Ireland, in rural Limerick, most of the industry is in the cities, and most of the industries would be West Limerick. So if you're living in East Limerick and you've got to drive to work, first you've got to drive to a childcare facility with your children. Then you need a second vehicle at home, because if you're living within 2 kilometres of a school, you don't qualify for public transport. So you've got to drive your children to school. And we're not acknowledging this, and the government doesn't acknowledge this. So not only are we going to get a carbon tax on a minimum wage, so you're actually, everyone that's within a rural Ireland is actually suffering double because of the minimum wage, because of the cost of living, because of the expenses that are put on us trying to get to work. And yet we're being penalised again. And I see all the funding from this has been spent, the majority of it in Dublin. Again, you don't understand Limerick or rural Ireland. So if you learn from the pandemic, it needs investment. It needs investment in our workers. It needs investment in infrastructure and companies to open up in Limerick, in areas where there is no industry, so then we can actually help reduce the carbon taxes and help our workers in all around the country, and use a common sense which seems to be lacking in this government. You have to listen to the people that are on the ground. Independents have 19 independents in this Dáil, and they should be listened to. Thank you.